All right. Uh, Here we go then. Oh, I've got a bit of sniffles. I'm not going to take my Nora. Okay, so as you can see on the table now, I've given it a quick press. This is my quilt top. I'm having to do it on my table. I mean, if you, this is only a laptop quilt, so just imagine if you were doing a big quilt, you probably have to do this process on your carpet in your lounge or somewhere where you've got a lot of room that you can work with. Um, First thing, having given it a press, is that we need to use some sort of um, quilted, batting, or what's the other word for it? Batting. There's two words. It means exactly the same thing. It just means the softy bit you're going to put behind it. Now, I'm using. I'll put this in front of you. This is Hobbs Poly Down Premium Polyester. I'm not going to put, normally if it was a bed quilt that I was going to use upstairs in the house, what have you, I would still use Hobbs, I like it, but it'd be Hobbs Heirloom, which would be 80% cotton, 20% polyester. It's not as thick in depth as this, but it is warmer than this. But I'm doing this in polydown because this lap quilt I intend to use in my car. I'm going to roll it up and put it in the back seat of my car so I can use it as a sit-down mat for me if we're having a picnic, or to snuggle up little ones in the back of the car, or take it in the sand, or just generally keep it in the car. So there are times when you just want something to snuggle up to in the car. So I'm using it. It started off as a project just to show someone how to applique, but obviously I've made it into a project now because I don't want to waste my squares. So here we go. So basically I'll show you what to do next. Alright, so I've just unfilled, let me just show you, see all the way across everywhere. I've got bits missing in this corner because I've used it before, but let's just, don't want it on a wonk, right, just, there we are, right. Now, as you may have noticed in that packet, if you were looking at it carefully, I always buy my pieces of batting packet batting, which I found has been quite cheaper than buying it in the shop actually, in king-sized bags. Yeah, I buy a king size. Now, I'm not going to do a king size quilt, but if you buy king size, I found that's far cheaper. Say, for example, this laptop quilt, well, you'd only want probably 2/3 of a twin size, which is a single bed. But I'd rather buy a king size because it's not that much more money, and you can make so many table runners and God knows what. Well, you could probably do 2 or 3 of these out of it, and it's not an awful lot more money. So I always go for the king size in the first place. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, well, that's the wrong way up, is I'm going to lay down, try not to crease anything, and come down and, right, spread myself out a little bit, and I'm particularly looking at that end of things. Yeah, give it a little bit of a smooth. Yeah, more or less. I haven't got a lot down here, so I might just move. I'll show you in a moment because I want you to see this. I'm just making that. I'm not that worried about losing. Yeah, I've got plenty there. Yeah, that's good enough for me. And then starting at the middle, I will smooth out the quilt. Yeah, so I know I'm gonna just move the entire thing over, but I can just more or less smooth out that side. Now this is just to give me a rough guide. I'll show you down this corner. Okay, let me just move the camera a second. See, I got at least, what I'm worried about is that in. I got at least 2 inches hanging over this side. Yeah? So wherever you put your quilt, I'm going to cut it now with, if I can find them. Where have you gone? Somewhere underneath all of this. Aha! My electric scissors. Again, if I had a bigger surface, I would make sure that I am fully stretched out. But however, let's start in this corner that you can see. And I'm going to use my electric scissors because I'm cutting on a table. I haven't got any mat underneath me, so I'm definitely not going to use a ridge cutter. And even scissors I find hard work. So for me, see, as easy as that, I just get rid of it, right? I do love my electric scissors. Now I'm going to go up, let's pull the camera around a bit. I am now going to go up this side of it. Okay. And again, starting at the edge and giving myself at least 2 inches. At least 2 inches. Stop there. Get rid of it. No, can't pull it down. I'm going to have to go and stand in front of the camera now so that you can see what I'm doing. Roughly, once I get this down to a manageable size, you can see what I do next. See? Where's that go? That comes over there. So. I can turn the corner now. I don't know whether it's still going to come out on camera. See, so I'm getting rid of all my excess. Don't get rid of anything because that's big enough to make a mug rug or a, don't get rid of anything. So I'm going to go back round the other side now. These electric scissors are by Simplicity, which I got in Amazon. So can you still see where I'm up to? I think so. Right, so if we go from there, I'll come across here and I will just hold it short so I can get in and cut. Oh, I'm not doing too well now. Right, now I know I've got enough to cover that edge, so now I can squish up, bring in my excess with me. I can squish that up. Okay. Hopefully, as good as. And then down this outside. There. Now I can get rid of all that excess and eventually pack it away. Alright. But now, if I show you from that edge, I've got a margin all the way around, top edge, bottom edge, and hopefully, if I bring it into view, that edge, you see I've got a margin all the way around. Now this is the important part where we start at the middle and we'll smooth it. We'll have to do it, as I say, in sections because It's a big quilt, but we want to smooth it so that we're not getting any huge ripples, bubbles or anything else in it. So I just smooth it out so I know that it fits what I want to have in the background. Alright then, so now I'm just going to pull a chair right out of the way so I can get in here and do this. Now, this is the way that I based. Okay, so far I've only got, let me pull it up, I've only got the backing, the polyester wadding or batting underneath, and my top quilt on the top, and I haven't done anything yet. Now this is called Diff 505 spray. This is the new colour can. You may see it in a different pattern, but this is a brand new type of can. Now I use this all the time. It's a replaceable temporary spray adhesive. It does not affect your needle. This is the best thing in the world for adhering your quilt to its base and the base to the batting. Lots of people used to use pins, needles, all kinds of things, safety pins, blah, 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 blah. But this is the easiest thing to use for quickness, and it does not move. Also, I've had quilts that I have unfinished for 4 or 5 years, and it's still a temporary adhesive in as much as you can still pull it up and put it back down. It doesn't wear off. It's brilliant. Obviously, the first time we wash it, it's going to go away, but we won't be doing that until we finish the quilt. So this is the spray. You don't need an awful lot. Less is more. You just get rid of the lid. And how I do it is, having made sure that I've got a few inches this way, I've got a few inch margin all around the quilt, yeah? I'm just going to centralise this a bit more now. And from the bottom, I will bring the quilt up to roughly halfway, which is, I know my little girl in the middle is roughly halfway, yeah? And then remembering that I've got an edge on it, let me just shake this can. I will, from a distance, I've got my back door open because you shouldn't be doing this in a closed room. Because obviously, as with any adhesives, or whatever you like to call them, there are chemicals involved, so you don't want to do it in a very sort of like tight room. And then I will just literally bring this up and gently lay it back down, and from the middle, we'll just push that to the outside. I'll push it up so I know I've got my edges pinned down all around as well. Yeah, that's now, yeah, I can feel the sticky. That's now caught. And this side again, I have just smoothed it out from the inside outwards, yeah. That's that done. And then I'll just waltz around. And in the same way, we went halfway down now, lady, is I'll bring up my quilt, bring it back, get my spray again, and starting over at that edge. You don't want to go too bad, and you don't want to go too close. Spray the adhesive, and then gently take your quilt and gently lay it back down, and from, again, the inside out, obviously I need to pull this across so that I can gently put it down and smooth it. Alright. Gently smoothing that on all the way around. If you did get a mad crease in it. Although this is stuck, because you can see I'm bringing the holes, it's stuck, you can bring it up, smooth it out, and then lay it back down, should you need to. Alright, that's the 505 spray that I use. As I say, does not affect your needle. It's brilliant, and that's all we need to do with the top part. Now, as we're moving on, I need to do exactly the same, and I will turn this over, okay, because now I want my backing, which is going to be white, I think. You see, and I turn it over and I'll see when I haven't got any wrinkles, I haven't got any nastiness in it, right? So I'm going to go and get my backing sheet, which I'm going to cut to the same size as the batting, not the quilt top. Because at the end of the day, when you start to quilt, top stitch, stitch and ditch, the quilt will pull in a bit with the stitching. So you always need this margin, you know, do not cut it the same size until we will square it up after we finish the top quilting. Okay, so from that last video you just saw me flip it over. So this is the backing. I buy Egyptian cotton bed and sheeting. So it's 100% cotton, but it's like 60 odd wide, and it's an awful lot cheaper than buying white quilting cotton. It's still cotton, it's still really good quality, it's thick cotton. As you can see, you can barely see anything through it. I haven't ironed it. I should iron it, but I don't. And I buy it, I think I buy this 5 meters at a time. I will try and put underneath the video where I source it from in the UK. I don't know what you would do if you were States or Australia. But this is, as I say, Egyptian cotton sheeting. So it's brilliant. You can get it in different colours. I tend to stick with white because white will go all over. Now, I'm not worried about the top. I'm more concerned with the side, to be honest. I want it bigger than it should be. And to be honest, you know what, this is not too bad at all. So I think I may, hang on, when you're in a small space, that's what you need to do. Let me bring it up the table so I can see where, yeah, the end of mine is, without causing any problemos at all. Yeah. So I can see from there. Again, using my electric scissors. I love my electric scissors for things like this. Right, so like to hold it off the table. Ooh. I nearly went wrong there, didn't I? Ooh, a little shorter. I'll drag that down in a minute. Then where's my end? Let's come out a bit. Oh, I didn't do that too well at all. Right. So that's that side. Right. I left the top where I had many more inches. Okay, so I am literally, no, yeah, I've got quite a bit up there. So I am literally coming back round this way. It's not stuck yet. So I am going to just flip it up. Whoop. Bring it down to cover at the bottom and the side. And I make it no, I'm not covering the other side now. So a little bit of fuss now. Oh, I've got to sit down because my back hurts. A little bit of fuss now, because naturally, I know it's big enough, so I just need to, that's covered. This is why I like using white, or plain colour at least, because you haven't got to worry about the grain. You haven't got to worry about anything, have you? I'm sat down to do this now because I've got excruciating back pain. But these two bits are stuck together. So now, I just got to make sure, smoothing it out, that my
backing fits where I want it to fit. Yeah. Right. So there he is. Just put him back in the middle, smoothing it. And I know it's not ironed, but it will get ironed. But not on a hot heat, on a very light heat. But I'll show you when to iron it. You don't want to iron it yet. Well, you know, it'd be nice if it wasn't this crinkled. But you don't want to iron it just yet. Right, so I know I'm covered all my edges as far as the batting went, which means it's bigger than the top. So these squares are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So as I'm at the top, I will peel this back. Ooh, I know it fits. So I'm going to have to stand up again now. Get lost. Peel this back halfway-ish. And exactly the same as we did before. 505. As I say, make sure you've got a window open, door open. I don't want you to be sniffing through. It doesn't, I have to say to you, there is no smell to it at all. But it does say on the can, used in a ventilated room. So let's go with that. So then, just gently bringing it forward to where I had it. And you can lift it up, reposition it. Let's make sure that corner's right. Yeah. Smooth it from the centre out. If you get, like I just got there, a wrinkle, it's fine. Lift it up, reposition it, smooth it. See, I've got a couple of wrinkles there now. Lift it up, reposition it. So that's the top half done, nice and smooth. Right, that's all stuck down nice and smooth. So now we need to lift up the bottom half to where we stuck it. I can tell where I stuck it because if I tug it, it's actually glued there now. So exactly the same on the bottom. Spraying. You don't want to go too close. Oh, I've got to sit down. Oh, my back's killing me. Right. So I am literally giving it a cover. I need to stand up like this. Right, stand up and starting at that side, I am going to just gently flip it over, bring it down. Yeah, doing my best to not get creases in it, but even if I do, it's not a problem. Right, so there we go. So from the centre, down, out is good. I got a wrinkle there, so I'm going to lift that wrinkle, smooth. Oh, sit down, Jack. Oh, my back is crippling at the moment. Bring it onto the table. Lift. Lift. I've got a wrinkle there. I'm just lifting so I get rid of that wrinkle. Yep. Easy to do stood up. Let me just get the majority of it down. Oh, it's wrinkled. Let's get this corner up again. Right. And start to smooth. Smooth to the outside is good. Smooth to the bottom is good. Bring it up smooth some more. So smooth the edges. Okay, right. As far as I'm concerned, I know it's creased, but there are no wrinkles. Oh, there's one. See, so pull it up, smooth it down. Yeah. 505 ODIF 505 repositional spray. Alright, so I'm happy that that backing is on flat. Okay, that's the sandwich. So now I can turn the whole thing over, and those 3 layers, excuse me, just checking that I haven't caused a wrinkle on the top in that process, because even if I did, obviously, you see, it's a repositional. So, you know, if it's still not quite as you want it, you've got all the opportunity in the world to do it again and again. It's repositioned. You pull it up and put it down as many times as you like, until you're happy that both back and front are smooth. Yeah? Don't worry about all this overhangings. That gets sorted out in the end. Now, we're left. We haven't got any pins in it, but that quilt, trust me, is stuck together. That's a sandwich. It is not going to move. Never going to move. It's all going to be like that. And what we need to do now, first thing that we need to do now, in the next video I will show you, that it's a bit awkward with this one because I've got a central square. Yeah, this is like a giant line patch, isn't it? So I've got a central square. But what I will do is I will stitch in the ditch from, in the middle, from, I hope you can see this on camera, from this side above the third, and below the third, and that third, and this third. So then my sandwiched quilt, my top will be stitched to the batting or the wadding, and also stitched to the background fabric. Only, like, you know, 3 ways, you know, in that big spaces. That's the first thing I'll do. Then I'll check that there are no wrinkles, and then I will give it a light press before I go on and do more stitching together work. Alright? So, anyway, so that's my next stage coming up. I hope you've, if you've never sandwiched a quilt before, then that's how I do it. There are people that use pins and God knows what, but to be honest, I can't be doing with it. I do it this way, and I know it works. And there have been quite a few sceptics in the group over the time that said, oh, yeah, I'm so sure about that. But once they tried it, they're like, oh my God, that is so easy. Okay, right.
Alright, so now that is how I sandwich a quilt. As I said before, lots of people do it in different ways, but if you're modern and a bit more like, yay, this works for me, then this is the way to go. I don't unappreciate the way that people have always done it, where they do 2 inches and move a pin and do 2 inches and move a pin. That's entirely up to them. I don't want to do it that way. I want to do it this way. So, you know, horses for courses, you do what you want. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you get the whole point of how to sandwich a quilt. That's the whole point, okay? So, as I said, in the next video that I'm making, then we will do some more important pieces, including stitching the ditch and ironing the quilt, before we do, you know, more important parts and we will get on to doing more intricate top stitching if that's your cup of tea. If not, well, that's fine. And also then obviously this, you know, the last is the binding. If you've enjoyed this video so far, then please subscribe, please hit the bell so you get a notification. Please like. All these things help me to be able to continue. And also please come and join Crafty So-and-so's Facebook group. You'll recognise it. Crafty So-and-so's Facebook group, where everybody who is doing this are all talking about it, and we all join in and we all help one another. I am on the Facebook group every single day, so if you want to ask me a question and you're a bit shy to put it underneath this video, then please come and ask it on the group.